Good morning, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Steve Knapp here, joined by the amazing Melissa Christie and Yvonne Doherty for a bit of a conversation around how important it is to look after our bodies when it comes to our minds. How are we going, ladies?
Very well, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. So this is a bit of a tricky one for me because I understand how important it is and I know all the benefits when I'm looking after my body, and I also am very aware of what's happening when I'm not looking after it. So I'd love to start with you, Yvonne, and how you find keeping a good regime of exercise and healthy eating goes hand in hand with how you're feeling mentally.
Yeah, amazing. I feel like it's actually something that I've gotten more into even over the last probably year or two, maybe 2 or 3 years, having overcome my own challenges. And mine was particularly where I was constantly at war with my body and I was not nourishing it correctly. I was not listening to it. I was always blaming it for everything and abusing it in various different ways. So it was very much developing that relationship again with my body and actually hearing it and being like, oh, what is going on here? And I think I would be quite a sensitive person. I think many of us who do find mental health challenging or just kind of more affected by the world can tend to be quite sensitive. And so I think my body is as well. And for so long, I had been neglecting it and just putting it through everything. It's like, you should be able to handle this. Like, why can't you do this? And all of this kind of just things that you would never say to someone you want to be friends with. So when I was changing my relationship with my body, I was like, well, what do you actually want? What do you need here? And then different things started coming in. I felt like I could actually connect to myself in a different way. And I was more sensitive to, okay, a lot of alcohol, not doing it for me. I know I'm Irish, but it is just not, it doesn't serve me. And so like, it's just something that I've tuned into a lot more and I feel it a lot more now, or like lacking sleep. Like I go to bed so much earlier now than I would have before because it feels good and I want to feel good. But like that, when we don't care about ourselves, when we don't kind of connect to, okay, how is this going to play out for me? Or if I make this choice, how is that going to impact my tomorrow or my mindset or how I feel? That's when we can, it just changes our relationship with that. It changes how we make these choices and decide for ourselves. Actually, I want to show up for Yvonne today. Actually, I want to make sure that I feel good and what would help me to do that. So there's various things we can do throughout the day that really helps that.
Yeah, and it can be like, I suppose, like it can be like a domino, can't it? Like if you knock over the first one that sets up your day first thing in the morning, everything else sort of follows suit. Whereas if you're starting off your day caught up in what happened from the night before, because I know when you touched on alcohol, like that was my main determining factor for years to make, and I didn't realise until I gave up drinking for about 4 months the amazing difference I was waking up with. I was like, oh my God, this is just amazingly different. I can't believe how cloudy and foggy my mind was from even if I didn't have a big night, like even if it was just 3 beers or something, the difference between that and having nothing, I probably didn't notice it straight away, but after a couple of weeks I was like, wow, I'm sleeping better, I'm fresh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So, and you'd be good at knowing all about that, Melissa, with how our sleep patterns would affect how we wake up and how we attack the day.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. It really, for me, I've really noticed my body, particularly after doing, some internal work, and, you start thinking about things differently and you start living more towards what it is that you truly want and how that raises then your energy vibration. So if your energy vibration is raising, then a lot of the things that I used to do, and you'll probably find this as well, a lot of those things no longer affect you in a different way because you're living probably in a more, not a pure state, if that's a word, but you're living in a very different energy field. So and I really noticed that too with sleep, because I know from doing a lot of years and years of shift work that really does mess with your head. You can go to bed late and then get up early again the next morning, and your body just feels so tired. And again, it's like you feel really foggy, like you've had X amount of alcohol drinks or whatever, because your brain is still feeling that hangover, so to speak, of lack of sleep. Yeah, and it does. It just messes with your whole mindset, because then you can't seem to get your energy up, and then you can't seem to think clearly. Then you don't know where you're going, and then it's that cycle. Then it starts a whole new cycle.
I love that. And it's funny how whenever we use the word hangover, we automatically think our alcohol, but it seems like you can have hangovers from all sorts of different things. Like I've heard, I mean, not something I know heaps about, so I'm wondering if one of you two ladies do, but even like the hangover you have from sugars and that sort of thing in your diet, to how much you get that initial energy burst, but then it's gradually just you end up being totally lethargic and drained from it all.
Yeah.
100%. That's something I used to find with, like, when I had an eating disorder, binging would have been part of some of the behavioral cycles that I was in, and you would have been like a huge amount, and it's like it's kind of fulfilling a purpose, like it was just a coping mechanism. But the slump after that, and how little energy I had after that, and then all of the mindset, even how fast your mind races, that's exhausting and just contributes to that as well. So it's definitely like your body responds to these things that don't serve you, and it like, here's what you're doing, it's like, that was not respectful, and it's tiring. It's working so hard for you all the time to try and just regulate again, bring you back into homeostasis. And I think that hangover effect is just like, just cool the jets. I need this one. I need this time to like balance and come back into alignment.
Yeah, it makes so much. It's a bit like what you touched on before too, Melissa, with the energy vibrations. I suppose once you start getting that vibe going, it's a lot easier to stack on it and keep that building behind itself, and then you get more energy and more motivation. And because I think that we get lost a bit in where motivation comes from, and it's not from thinking about doing something, it's from the pleasure of actually doing something and then keeping it going.
Yeah, totally. And you know how your body responds, like Yvonne was saying, how it responds to the foods that you eat, and how that does make you feel, and how that projects you into what it is that you can really do, into your capabilities. I mean, if you're eating really well, then your mind really does open it up, and you open up then to possibilities about what it is that you can really do, rather than if you start eating all the crap food. I know for myself, my body starts aching and my joints start stiffening up. So then it limits me as to what it is that I can do, and it limits me as to what it is that I want to do. So it's the motivation then is decreased, and my whole body language is totally different than to what it is if you're eating really good food and you've got your energies up and your vibration is changing. Because, as we all know, everything is energy, isn't it? We're all energy, and everything responds to how energy is. Yeah.
Makes so much sense. Now, I'd love to know if you guys have any tricks. This is I'm sure this will help heaps of people, but this might just be something I'm sneakily asking for help, bit of a tip for myself. Any tricks on if you know that you're eating the wrong things? So say you've tucked into bed for the night and you think, oh, geez, that block of chocolate's looking good. I might just have that. And you know in your head, in your heart, this isn't doing you any favours at all, but you can't just quite not go there. Have you got any tricks, apart from just not having it around you, to how to avoid picking up the chocolate or the potato chips or the ice cream when you know you shouldn't?
I would have a couple, if it's cool if I jump in. Something that I would have found helpful, because like that, I would have seen foods as being good or bad. So something even initially to maybe think about is like neutralizing them. It's just food, so it's not good or bad, because when we vilify something, then it becomes more attractive to us in a way. And it's like, I can't have that. And it's like, oh, I really want that. So even just checking in with, like, what am I telling myself about this? Like, is it okay if I have chocolate? Do I enjoy it? Is it nourishing? Maybe transforming the story about what this is. It's not like it's restricted, I shouldn't have that or anything, because then it will just amp up how much you want it. But then something else that I find useful as well is like, think of HALT. So if you're having that thought, just halt. And it's like hungry, angry, lonely, or tired is what that stands for. And just check in with yourself, like, am I actually hungry, or am I just like angry or anxious, lonely or tired? And if I'm tired, then what I need to do is rest. It's not that I need to have sugar right now. If it's nighttime, I need to actually listen to my body and tune into what it really wants here. Because those things, we will just reach for food, or we will just reach for that quick hit. But it's like, is that actually going to sustain what my body is asking for in this moment? So that could be helpful.
Yeah. And the other thing that sorry, Steve.
No, I was going to say, what about you, Melissa? I know you've got something gold here. I'm ready for it.
I was just thinking, one of the things that I do sometimes is I distract myself from that thought. So if I feel like I really want something to eat, I'll distract it with something else that I really like doing. So that might be reading, or it might be, putting on some music and listening to some nice quiet music, or doing something that engages me in something totally different. So it takes my attention away from that food or that desire or what it is that I want. So I get this, so I can go off in a different mindset with it.
I love that. I love that. And one thing that I've just been practicing a bit lately myself is as soon as I go to bed, I always have a bottle of water, because I do like to sip and quite often wake up thirsty. And I've found that when I'm trying to make the choice whether I want to have something naughty or not, just that quick sip of water can just sort of trick the mind into thinking, no, I've actually had something now. I'm full. I don't need that added extra on top of it. So that's a new little thing that I'm working on. Oh, and we've got a question coming through. First from Adam, I'm sure that was from Adam, saying, "Morning, you beautiful warriors." I'm sure that's aimed at two of the three of us. That's all right. And he said, Adam's got a question for Yvonne. From your powerful story you shared, what mindset did you have when you experienced eating very little, and what did you do to recover?
That's a big question. So I suppose the mindset I would have had at the time when I was experiencing that and using the eating behaviors to cope, essentially, they were really a solution to the problem. The problem was that I didn't feel good enough. I didn't like myself, respect myself, accept myself, or want to be myself whatsoever. So that was kind of where my mind was at. And using food in a certain way was how I was trying to deal with that. It was like it gave me control, or it helped me avoid, or it helped me to just feel like there was something maybe that I could look after, because everything else just seemed like chaos. So recovery began for me when I got help initially, and also getting the right help, because I went to a number of different people on my journey who didn't fully understand. And the understanding of eating distress or disorders is really key, because a lot of people don't actually understand the reasons for it and how to overcome it. So it was really, for me, it wasn't a journey about like food or body, really. It was a journey to rediscovering the true me, and it was a journey of uncovering the real me and getting to know her and getting to like her, and actually allowing myself to feel that I was worthy of existing, of nourishment, of life, of my passions, my dreams, all of those things. So recovery was a change of mindset, because the problem existed in my mind. The only way I could maintain, or that anyone can maintain, an eating distress is because of the power of the mind. It's the stories we tell ourselves. And that power is still in our hands when we're recovering. That power is still ours to rewrite that story and to find our way through and to just start building that up. And it was a process. It was a journey. And like that, the food and the body tend to be the last things to go, because they are something that we feel very attached to, because they serve a very strong purpose for us. But the more that we can fulfill our needs in different ways, the more that we can meet ourselves where we're at and learn about ourselves, the less that they actually have a place, and the more they can become free of those things. So I hope that answered that question.
I could listen to you all day going about this stuff, Yvonne. I know I have for months already, but God, Adam's not wrong when he says powerful story, and the passion when you share things so openly and vulnerably is just amazing. And I just want to touch on one thing there that you said at the start, which is a bit off topic, but the fact that not only did you seek help, but you continued to. There's such an important message in that a lot of people go, I need some help, and they go to one person and they don't really find the answer or what they need and go, oh, well, I'll just give up. It does take it. You do have to sort of put yourself out there a little bit and go, that person wasn't the right fit for me, that person wasn't. And then eventually you are going to find the right one. Just don't give up and keep always looking for the right sort of help, because you just don't know who it's going to be and who is going to be fit for how you're actually feeling and what you need at the time.
Yeah. 100%. Is so important. Like, it's okay to shop around like you do at other things. You are employing these people to help you in a way. So get someone who is actually going to do that. And if it's not a right fit, it's not about you. Quite often it is just that relationship or their understanding or something else. So yeah, definitely hone in on that point, that it's like I went to, I think the 7th place I went to was where I actually recovered. So that was how many different doors I knocked on, but like that, I wanted to become free. So it was just having that keep going, and we got there.
And did you find, Yvonne? Oh, sorry, Steve.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Did you find, Yvonne, the more that you started trusting in yourself and started acknowledging yourself, that things started coming to you, that those people started coming to you rather than you going out to find people?
possibly I would have received information better. But I think in terms of getting to the help, I'm going to think about that one. See, at the time, I was very much supported by my family as well. So they had that driving force of, we need to go to somewhere else, we need to go somewhere else. And we did go to like the public health service. And then we ended up going private in the end, with everyone who was there had been fully recovered themselves. And I think, yeah, I suppose I would have, having gone to different places, I was starting to tune into, they don't really resonate with me. They don't understand me. They don't get me. And I suppose the more that I kind of had that experience, when I did land on the ones that did, I was like, these guys, they know what they're talking about, because every single one of them had fully recovered from what I was trying to fully recover from. So they had already walked the path. And so I felt like they make sense. They're the right people to bring me through as well. So I suppose there was maybe a small element of it, but I think it did take me quite some time to trust myself. And I was in that process for about 2 years with these same people, learning to trust myself as well. So yeah, it kind of came along the way.
Interesting.
It's awesome. And like that's it, isn't it? You could go to 10 people that have all got the exact same qualification, but you're going to get a different result 10 times. It's just never stop looking. If you know you need something, always keep looking, because you're going to bounce off different energies. Like, it goes back to the energy thing. You might just automatically speak to someone and go, no. They could be the best in the world and you just go, no, there's no rapport. I'm not going to get into that. Whereas then you just go to someone, might even be less qualified, but as long as you feel like you're on the same page, you'll get so much more benefit, I reckon.
Yeah.
And I think you touched on a really important part there as well, how you said, if you really resonated with people because they had also walked the path as well. So they kind of knew from experience about what it was that you were going through. And I guess that's the same with everything though, isn't it? If you know somebody's walked the path, then it's easier then to connect with them on some level.
Yeah. They know you're bullshit and they know you're trying like a book. It's amazing and annoying all at once.
Yeah. There's nothing worse than an expert who has no past experience of the topic they're talking about. And we've got a question come through for you, Melissa. I think this one's from Kerry, because it says, I have a question from Melissa, the animal expert. What is the difference between humans looking after their body compared to animals looking after theirs?
Well, animals are they're very sentient beings. So animals know exactly kind of what is right for them in all aspects. I mean, they naturally, animals amaze me because when they give birth to their young, they just know naturally what to do with them. I mean, humans do as well. We do as well. But they're beautiful. You can watch them and they know which one is really healthy. They know which one's not. They know which one is to nurture them. I mean, I remember having one of my dogs, she had, which unbeknownst to me, she had given birth to some puppies. And one day she was barking a lot to me. And I was thinking, what's the matter? What are you trying to tell me? And I started following her and she took me down to the back of the garden and she had buried one of her pups that had passed away. And she wanted to show me that that's what she'd done. And I thought, wow, that is just so amazing how they can do that. So they do really tune into what is, what it is going on for them and how they can communicate that to you. And they know, you see animals, and dogs do it. I don't know about other animals, how they eat grass if they're not feeling so well. So they know what to eat if they're not feeling 100% and how to help themselves in that regard. And they also know what not to eat. If they smell something it doesn't look good, they won't touch it. If they know something is really good, they'll eat that. So I think animals are very in tune with what it is that what they can eat and their health and what it is that they need. And they'll pick up on that from us as well, what it is that we need. It's that two-way street type of thing. Yeah. Yeah. And cats do that as well. I've noticed, not that I'm a cat person, but cats will, they'll leave their area if they're not feeling well, if they know that they're going to, not pass away or, do something really radical, they'll leave until they heal themselves and then sometimes they'll come back. So they're very intuitive like that. And we, as humans, sometimes aren't that connected or we're not that switched on sometimes, because we just kind of, oh yeah, that'll be all right, I'll just have that, that's fine, I'll see what the repercussions are. We don't kind of trust ourselves, so to speak, about what it is that we really need. I hope that answers your question. Sorry. A bit convoluted.
Well, there's another one for you, Melissa. Do you know why particular dogs tend to be massive gluttons, and if the whole bag of food was there, they wouldn't stop, but other ones can show perfect restraint? This is coming from an owner of Labradors, so you can imagine what sort of dogs I have.
Yeah.
It's like a race to finish everything, and if they can get access to more, they just won't stop.
Yeah. I don't know the answer to that, Steve. With my dogs are the same. I've got dachshunds, so they're small and they will eat everything.
Yeah, I think it's just nature, isn't it?
Famine trauma.
Well, we do the same too, though, don't we? Because we will eat. If something tastes really good, we'll eat it. And half the time I catch myself because I'll say, oh, my God, I'm so full. But there's still food on the table and I'll still eat it because it's there, So we kind of do the same thing. And then we'll lie, and then, of a night we'll lie back there and go, oh, my God, I shouldn't have eaten so much. But,
Yeah, the buffet lifestyle.
It is.
And how do you guys find having a right nutritional plan helps you with physical exercise? Don't mind who goes first. Doesn't matter. We'll go with the bomb.
I feel like that's something I've become more aware of, again, probably in the last 2 or 3 years, getting more active again. Because I would have been really active like as a child, and then I think I wasn't wellness depressed and wasn't moving my body a whole lot at all. And then when I kind of started like nearly coming home to my own body and be like, oh, I own this, I can do stuff with this, this is cool, and moving into that, it was something that I noticed, like even over the last couple of years, like I did my first half marathon or like started running, and I never would have thought I'd run and actually enjoy it. But it's just, checking in with, well, what's going to fuel me, and what am I going to, what's going to help me to thrive or sustain this, or what can I have before it? And like that would be vegan as well. So I'm just making sure that I am looking after all nutrients and everything is getting sustained, fulfilled, all of those good things. And I've gotten really interested in it. I really enjoy just looking after my body. I love fruits and vegetables. I love like whole grains and beans and things like that. And it does make such a difference, because I think I would have been real sluggish like that before, when it would just be like feast or famine like all the time, and my body like really reflected that. I was just like, I don't feel like doing anything. It's like, of course you don't. And now it's just having that steady like energy release. It really does change how much you feel like you can do, or your rest and recovery is different. And it feels so much better for it, and just so much more like my body appreciates it. And it's nice to have that sense of like connection, where it's like, I'm looking after you, you look after me, and we kind of have that reciprocity now, more so than trying to always demand and not nourish at the same time.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, it's a similar thing for me, Steve. I know if I do more physical activity, more exercise, I feel so much better for it. And it's the same again, if I eat better food, it just amplifies how I feel in that exercise, in doing that exercise. Yeah, I
agree, especially on the exercise front and how that makes you feel. Nutritionally, I don't really probably follow any particular healthy diets that help me with that. I think I find momentum's been my savior. So if I'm going for a run and I do that every single morning, that's where I start getting the real benefits, rather than being smart enough to stick to something that's going to make that easier. I just plow through with constant having a go at it. But I must say, last year when I was running every day, I did come back and blitz up a heap of fruit, because I'm not a big fruit eater. So mixing all that into a smoothie, I had heaps of healthy things that I would normally not eat that sort of came on the back of going for a run. So I was lucky that I could, once you start deciding to be healthier, everything else just kind of rolls in together almost by accident.
Because you're feeling the benefits from it. Yeah.
Been looking forward to it coming up again, because this is a good place to plug it, actually. October we'll have the Black Dog Institute in Australia. 1 Foot Forward campaign again, where everyone gets out and clocks up the Ks, raising money for the Black Dogs Institute to help with suicide prevention and mental health and all of that. So I'll be jumping. Everyone will see me posting every day for how many Ks I've gone and trying to get everyone to dip into their wallets. That's coming up, but a very worthwhile cause. Oh, we got another question come through. Oh, no. This is a question for me. That can't ever be good. What mindset did I have when I found out I was going to be joined by 2 powerful ladies? Wow. That's an easy one. That's an easy one. These 2 ladies are 2 of my most favourite ladies in the whole world, and I've had the pleasure of knowing these 2 for quite a long time now, isn't it? It's all, like Melissa I met at late last year and have gotten on famously with. We've done quite a few things together, and Yvonne, a little bit less time, but had an immediate connection with Yvonne. We've got very, very similar overlapping pasts, and I'm just older, so I probably managed to mess up for a hell of a lot longer and didn't quite work it out as young as Yvonne has. But, yeah, the mindset I had around this was I was massively excited and super stoked, and pretty sure it was me that put myself in this position once I found out that these 2 lovely ladies were going to be having a chat on here. I said, well, I want in. I love them. Put me on board. I'm happy. So I think that covers your question there.
Love it.
So what would you? I'll start with you, Melissa. Here, where would you go? Like, if someone's saying, well, they really want to sort of change the way they're doing things, they'd like to exercise a bit more. Where do you reckon is a good place to start? If you're having a bit of a battle, like, oh, I want to get up earlier and go for a walk, or I want to do something. Any tips to get your mind into a sort of area that'll help that push along before you even get going in the morning?
Yeah, I think rituals are really important, and I think it's just doing the very small step. You know, if it's walking or if it's running, that you want to get into, and you're really struggling with that strategy. Even the fact of just putting your shoes by your bed so that you get up, you put your feet in the shoes, and then you might just walk to the front door the first day, and then the next day you might just take a little bit further, walk to the front of the house. And then just slowly, very gradually, just increase your steps so that you start to build that momentum, but you're doing it every day. So it's something that you do every day. If you can do it at the same time, that's really good, because it just starts that momentum. It just starts that purpose, and it starts your thinking, oh, this is the time. Okay, I need to start walking. So just this, you know, it's just something very simple to kickstart everything. And then you'll find that once you start building that momentum and start doing that every day, you'll increase what it is that you want to do, and you might expand a little bit more about what you want to bring into those rituals, what you would bring into that walking. You know, and it might be something too that you want to put on a really nice meditation or something, some music or something in your ears, so just to give you a little bit more persuasion into embracing it.
Love it. What about you, Yvonne?
I think the first thing that came to my mind was just like connecting to your why. Like, what does this mean to you? Because I think sometimes with New Year's resolutions or even like weight loss, things like that can be quite popular, I suppose. And like a lot of people, I think innately we want to feel optimal and we want to feel good. And so we'll come up with these ideas. Yeah, I should do this or I should do that. But it's like, do you really want to? Or what does it mean to you beyond that idea of this could be a good thing to do? So even checking in with, why do I want this, and what's it going to be like when I do have it? I love visualizing and like a big visionary kind of person. So I love tapping into like, how is this going to feel? What's it going to look like? How am I going to be living? Who am I going to become? Like those different aspects. Maybe some people will go smaller chunk or like more detailed and stuff, but I like to go kind of out there. But so it's like, how is this going to serve me? What's the purpose of it? And kind of getting into that, really connecting to that, I think can be helpful.
Mm.
Yeah, I love that too. That was what really motivated me, was like, why are you doing this? Because I remember, like, I hit the start of winter last year and just jumped on the scales and went, you fat bastard, you got to be doing something here. This is no good. And that was all it took for me. That was like, yeah, didn't drink for 120 days, was running. I started off walking, then built up to running, and like you said, Melissa, it was just that build. So I'd just started off with a basic like walk for about 3 kilometres, and that couple of months later, on weekends, I was getting out and running 18, 19, 20 kilometres without stopping, and I'm like,
wow,
I haven't stopped this good since when I was playing sport flat out in my 20s. I was like, how's this bloke well over 40 found this? Joint pain disappeared. I had chronic pain in both my knees. I've got a bit of bone on bone, and it just went away. Like the consistency and the enjoyment of seeing the results. It was like, and then the Black Dog Institute thing came, and I'm like, everyone's watching now. People have put their money on the line. It's like, I'm not letting anyone down, and I just kept upping the Ks I was going to do. And I thought at the start, I'm like, I'll do 150 Ks. Like for a month, that's pretty big. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to beat that 200. And then I think I ended up doing 326 Ks for the month, and it was just the excitement of it all. It was like, it wasn't a chore to go for a run. It was like, oh, I need to get up a bit earlier because I want to beat yesterday, and then I want to go that bit further on the weekends. It was like just playing a game with myself that none of it was painful. It just became pleasure. It was amazing. And I think the one thing I would say to people though is you don't always have to beat your time or distance. Don't beat yourself up if you go, oh, I went slower than yesterday. That's it. I'll give up. I'm going backwards. It's like just the fact of getting out and doing it, the benefits are huge. It doesn't matter if you have a couple of off days. Just having a go is so important, I've found. What do you guys think? Just making that effort is huge.
I mean, even the fact of getting outside and feeling the air and seeing the sunrise maybe, or seeing the birds or connecting with nature. I mean, that's good enough reason anyway, just to get out there and connect and walk and run and inspire yourself to do the simple little thing. Yeah, do the smallest thing.
Yeah, I think so too. Any chance, like if anyone, I highly suggest if you don't, to follow both of these ladies on Facebook and Instagram, because you'll see Yvonne posts that much of beautiful nature surroundings that she's in. She's finding trees that are like, God, 400 meters wide, and she's always in the most beautiful places. And I'm sure, Yvonne, that's just purely because of the pleasure you get from being out in such wonderful areas that would help you be so much more at peace in your mind.
Yeah, and it's so funny. I never used to care about nature or anything, and like my parents would have. We would have gone for hikes or things like that, and I'd just be like, "Oh, I want to go home," or like I wasn't paying any attention. And oh my God, like through my recovery, started looking out the window, started noticing things, started being like, "Wow, has there always been so much gorgeousness around me?" Like I hadn't even connected to it. Like, and now I'm just constantly in awe of the world, of everything, especially of trees. I freaking love trees. But yeah, just constantly speak out, and I got so much energy from that. It's a deeper connection, I think. Like when we are disconnected from life, it can be hard to disconnect from this big, beautiful nature that we are part of. And then when you start seeing yourself more, you start seeing the world more clearly. It's just, yeah, it's amazing. It really just feels so much better.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, 100%. And I reckon you're spot on too. If my parents wanted me going out for a hike in the bush, I would have been going, nah. And now I look at it, my kids probably think the same. The amount, because I didn't get into it until they were like already around, and they're like, again, do we really, Dad, how many times do we have to go to this waterfall? And I'm like, it's magical, and it looks different every single time. I can come here every single day for the rest of my life because it makes me feel good. But I think maybe it's an appreciation thing. When you're young, you don't quite, you've got too much going on around you and too much excitement with friends to actually be able to take the time to be present in that moment and just bask in the beauty that's around us. Wherever you live, you can find it somewhere. Absolutely find it somewhere.
Yeah, so true.
We've got a couple more questions coming through. Does this mean in October we're going to see a lot more of Steve for the Black Dog Appreciation on Warrior TV? Well, no doubt. People are going to be so sick of me on here soon. And Adam has a bone to pick with Yvonne. Why are you not following us on Instagram? Haha, it's MH Warrior 2020. Good plug there, Adam. Anyone that's not following us on Instagram, MH Warrior 2020.
Right.
Perfect place to start. All right, guys, we're almost going to wrap up. I want the last pearl of wisdom from both of you amazing ladies on what you would say is the most important thing that you need to do looking after your body. moving forward? If say you were starting something new tomorrow and you wanted to give yourself the best chance moving forward, what would your number one piece of advice, your golden nugget be to a newbie having a crack at a healthier lifestyle tomorrow?
Okay.
Go on, Melissa. You're ready.
So I would say it's really important to listen to your heart and listen to what it is that you truly want and desire, so that you're connected to what it is that you want, and allow yourself and give yourself permission to feel whatever it is that you want to feel, and don't beat yourself up about not doing something if it's not congruent with you, if it's not in alignment with you. And really enjoy and listen to yourself. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yvonne's going to throw us some gold now. Feeling it.
I'm trying to think. I feel like there's so much I want to say. I think what came up first was just having that respect. I suppose for me, it was a journey from seeing my body more as an instrument than an ornament. I was always just like, it needs to look good, or I want it to appear okay, and putting it under pressure to do those things. But if you realize just how amazing your body is, like what it can do for you, what it does all the time, you don't even have to ask. It's breathing, it's your heart is beating. Like when you start to appreciate the different systems in your body that are just constantly working, like it's an incredible thing that you have. And whatever way it looks doesn't matter, but it can make you feel incredible. It can make you go incredible places. Like it can do so much. And just when we like that, have that appreciation for it, we want to look after it, then there is that connection to it. It's like, I want you to feel good, and then in turn we'll feel good because of that. So even just developing a relationship with your body can be an amazing starting point to start just really seeing where it can take you, because it is absolutely phenomenal piece of equipment we have here that maybe we don't appreciate often enough.
I agree 100%. We so don't appreciate how lucky we are to be able to do the things that we can do and have the ability to just walk off into anywhere. It doesn't matter where. And I think it all starts in your mind. Once you decide that you're going to find the beauty in everything you do, and you've hit your why, because your why can be as simple as, it's bloody beautiful out there. Go and enjoy. That's all you need sometimes, and everything else will just follow suit. Like, dance in the rain, sing in the rain, jump in the puddle, like tap back into that inner child and realize how much beauty there is around us and really enjoy it. And things will just automatically get onto a flow and the dominoes will fall. And I think you just have a much more enjoyable life once you are just taking things simply, but taking action as well. I think that's so important.
Totally.
Yeah, so well said.
Totally. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, ladies. Before we go, I just want to quickly let everybody know that coming up in just a bit over 2 hours' time, Adam's going to be joined by the amazing Karen Unruh. They'll be discussing chronic illness. So that'll be for all of our Aussie friends. That'll be at 10 p.m. tonight. And for the guys in the UK, that'll be 1 p.m. So quick little plug in there for anyone that hasn't had enough of Warrior TV for the evening. And for you two, my most favourite amazing people ever, thank you so much for joining us tonight. You've both given us such amazing insights into the importance of our bodies and our minds and all the goodness that goes on. So, both of you, Melissa, Yvonne, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks, Yvonne.
And for everyone who's been watching us too, everyone who watches us and watches us on replay, we appreciate you and thank you so much. And that is it from us. So goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.